In the world of sales, what's something that you can learn from a marketer that would really help you out be better at what you do? This is an important question. I'm Scott Silvenbell. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento, California on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. Well, I'm 30 miles south of Sacramento. I'm on the Delta, right? I'm in the slingshot. That's what's on my right side. And then on the other side here on this island that I'm looking at right there, that's a paraform, okay? And so Dan Kennedy is a really well-known marketer. Dan Kennedy is a brilliant man, and he is a brilliant strategist. And I'm going to tell you why here in a second. So a couple days ago, they sent out an email and a message that says, Dan Kennedy is in hospice care. He's no longer talking to people. His journey's over. And he wrote this really elegant message, coming from the guy, and says basically, hey, due to a lot of medical conditions, things didn't go very well. I'm on my last legs, but I want to tell everybody goodbye. So the marketing world goes insane. The direct marketing world goes insane. Like, I'm tied into that industry pretty well. And everybody comes back. Oh my goodness. They write their tributes. They do all sorts of videos and Zoom calls and webinars, tributes to Dan Kennedy, this brilliant guy. And so then, like 24 hours later, it comes back out, Dan Kennedy's not dead. He's in hospice care, right? And so marketing and sales is a huge form of manipulation. Huge. So Dan Kennedy did this thing where he put out this message. It was a controlled message. It was what he wanted to do. And it got all sorts of attention. It got all sorts of people engaged. Everybody was talking about him in the direct marketing world and the direct response world. This was all over the place. Everybody posted the link to his letter that he put up on his website, and everybody was engaged, and they wanted to talk about this thing. Dan Kennedy passed away. He was my mentor, and everybody started putting up all these pictures. Like, the one picture that I wanted was me with Dan Kennedy. I didn't get it. It's not going to happen, okay? But I really did want this picture because, he's a marketing legend. So you're like, Scott, come on, get to the point. I'm there. So there's times in your marketing where it's got to be multi-step. There's times in your sales process where you've got to be multi-step and grab attention, and you got to get people to be engaged. I'm going to tell you right now, for the last 4 or 5 days, people have been engaged and talking about Dan Kennedy. How do you ethically and legally take what you're doing and put a piece of information out there, put an offer out there, put something out there where someone's like, hey, I really want to check this out, and then maybe you might need to clarify. So on a wacky example, yesterday, my phone carrier sent out, hey, you can get a tablet for zero money. And then today they sent out, whoa, time out, we screwed up. It wasn't zero money, we forgot to add a 1. It was $10 a month, okay? So for something like that, I'd be like, I don't know if I really trust that. I think that they were gauged in reception to see what would happen, and then they gave it a 24-hour period. So that is on the wacky end of the spectrum. Now pull it back. What could you do for your organization where you could put some information out there, where you could do something legally and ethically? Like, don't claim stuff that's stupid. Like, really think through this. This is a strategy session for you. You're going to have to put some time, energy, and effort into this and think through, like, how could I do a 2-step promo? How could I do something that's going to be really cool that grabs attention? Like, think about what a magician would do. Because, remember, marketing and sales to a large extent is manipulation of emotions and storytelling and everything that's going on. What can you do to get people to be like, I really got to talk about this product. I really got to talk about this service. And one of the ways that you do that is you study pranks, like, for real, study pranks. There was a guy, I want to say it was 1860 or 1870, that lived in England. And what he did was he made a bet to somebody and said, I'm going to become the most famous man in London by the end of the week. And so, the guy took the bet, and what happened with these shenanigans, hands down, was insane. There was somehow a party that was thrown at a mansion that was orchestrated by the guy who was putting on the bet, saying, I'm going to become really famous. And it caused all sorts of problems for him. If I remember the story correctly, he went to jail. I'm trying to remember the dude's name. But study pranks, but just don't do them. Study what it takes to get somebody's attention and have them go, that sounds interesting. That sounds like something that I would pay attention to. And look in the advertisements that you have around the house to what you find interesting and to what you like. Oh, that ad has nothing to do with my industry, but I find it interesting. How could I swipe it and adapt it to use it for me. Like in the world of copywriting, you have these things called swipe files, which what they do is they take an ad and they take the promo, and then as a copywriter, what I would do is I would read it and I would take the ideas and the content, not word for word, but take the ideas and the content and go, how do I use this in my ad? How do I use this formula that they used to use to my benefit? So there is a mansion that they throw weddings at about 1.5 miles up, and I guess the wedding's over, so lots of cars are coming by. It's usually never this busy, right? So there's always something you can learn. Dan Kennedy, brilliant dude. Rest in peace when he goes. I don't know what day that's going to be, but you know what? He got to have 2 rounds of attention. He got people to talk about him twice, right? And if he does it right, he might be able to get people to talk about him 3 times in the next 2 weeks from something that he puts out online, maybe a video, maybe another letter, right? He learned this from Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers, when she had her funeral, she had 2 services, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. That way they could talk about her twice, right? How can you get your client to talk about you twice? How can you get your client to check you out a second time? Marketing lessons from Dan Kennedy, brilliant dude. He's going to be missed. He was a master at what he did. You got one thing to do from here. Just one thing. Find the subscribe button and click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. This is Scott Bell Consultant. Send out another fantastic video, probably from somewhere interesting, cool. Like today, a little bit breezy. Got the sunset in 30 minutes, right? I don't know if you knew this or not, but if you put your finger on the horizon, for every finger, it's about 15 minutes. It's about 30 minutes till sunset. Coming to you live from a cool location. Find the subscribe button, click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. Kind of lost track of what I was talking about. We'll see you soon. Thanks for dropping by. Hey, got the message going on today. Stay stoked. Stay stoked right there. We'll see you soon. Thanks for dropping by. Aloha.